This time I'll call this Port Lavaca City Council order on this Monday, April 8th. At 6:32 p.m. Everybody please rise. Councilman Ward, can you deliver a location for us?
Let's pray. Father, we just come that you extend to this nation, ask that you extend that protection, keep us safe from those that might seek to undermine it. And Lord, I just pray that the meeting tonight and the decisions that are made here would be better for the citizens of this city. Continue to bless us. And we pray all these things, Father, in Jesus Christ's name.
Amen. Everyone, please join me in the pledges of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to these Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
First order of business today are presentations. And let's see, one employee with 20 years of service in the Public Works Department, Cindy Izquierdo, but she is not here today, and she has been presented her plaque for 20 years and all the other accompaniments. And Wayne, is there anything you want to say about Cindy to the public?
Just appreciate the hard work that she does on a daily basis.
Sure. Wish she could have been. All right, we want to introduce a couple of new hires to the city of Lavaca, and I'm going to turn it over to Jody Weaver to introduce two of our new people.
Yeah, we've got two new employees, Katarina Thomas. Katarina, you can stand up. She is our new capital improvements and grants coordinator. And she has hit the ground running, and she's done a whole lot of work in a very short amount of time she's been here. She's very detail oriented, which is exactly what we need in that position. And then Luke Wright is our new code enforcement officer, and he also has kind of hit the ground running. And I don't know if Derek, if you want to say anything about Luke so far. Brittany actually, Katarina works in the finance department, but unfortunately Brittany was not feeling well tonight, so she wasn't able to be here. But so I can speak. Katarina's doing a superb job. Derek, you want to say a couple words how Duke's doing?
Well, since he's been here, he definitely hit the ground running. He comes with us with 15 years of law enforcement background, so he does know the law pretty well. So I think he's going to be a good asset to the city.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome every time.
Appreciate it. Luke, from the day he got here, he's been in the field, but we're doing quite a bit of work. See today, we see some fruits of that work, so appreciate what you do. Oh, we'll see. There we move to comments from the public. We're a couple of people that have signed up, but we also have agenda items that cover they want to speak about. So is there anyone here that wants to speak on something that's not on the agenda? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
My name is Rose Graham Stewart, and I'm representing Total Impact. We have two people here. We've been cleaning up yards and doing things like that over there on the south side. But our question is, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Our question is, when we clean up these yards, we had this one yard, and we've been there 3 times, and it still needs a lot of cleaning. But when we clean up these yards, what is the city gonna do to keep these yards cleaned up? Because some of these people are not even in town. Some of these people are out of town, they're paying their taxes, but they're not here. So we need something in place, or we're willing to do whatever we need to do. But we need something in place to keep these yards up, or to make these people keep them up. I'm a realtor in town, and I have a lot of people coming and asking about our city, and I had 2 people, say our city was dirty because of the way our yards are, and I don't like that. So, I mean, we're just wanting. Can we do to help you guys, or what can you do to help us to get these yards cleaned up and stay cleaned up. And we'll go to yards and we'll, you know, you guys can tell us what yard we need to clean. But we're defeating the purpose that we're just cleaning them and they're just gonna get back to stuff like they are. Ms. Lynn.
Yes, and I got told Saturday night, oh, first of all, my name's Lynn Menchaca Road, but Saturday night, we were at Port Lavaca. You did such an excellent job with that. Anyway, an acquaintance was talking and I had some scratch marks and I had been cleaning up, picking up tree limbs and all. And he asked, what are you doing? How come your arms are all scratched up? And I said, I volunteer to clean up yards. And he goes, why volunteer? He said, just let it grow. The city will come in and clean it up and then they just charge you. And I went, you're able and willing? And he goes, yeah, but it's easier. Why should I give up my time and pay to get equipment when they'll come in and clean it up for me and just charge me? So like I was telling Rose, I think the city should up the price on something like that to deter that from happening. You know, like Rose says, the city looks crappy and we need to do something about it. We really do. And I did tell Rose and Marina Saturday, you know, we're cleaning this up, all these yards, we're giving up our time, which we don't mind. But hey, no more warnings. We've been there, we're cleaning it up. It's time to issue the fines to these people and just say, we're serious about this. We're serious about this. So. Thank you.
Thank you.
I should like to comment something. The rules did not mention, my name is Gloria Flores. But the yards that were clean were coming in with the grass at least 3 feet high. And it's a lot of work for us when we do it, we're doing it, but some of the yards that we have completed. Maybe about 3-4 months later, we go down the neighborhood, and it's just as high as when we started. And we had cut it down and nobody's maintaining. And nor are they, that we know of, are they getting any warnings to clean their property up?
We can probably provide some factual information. So factually speaking, if you notice, there are how many today on the agenda that we're pursuing? 6 properties that we're pursuing because of these very issues. That is the method by which the city can do that. So that we are working through that. There are some legal barriers to us being able to pursue them. But Rose, I'm glad to meet with you and tell you the process so that you may be able to do some self-help situations. Okay? So just this week's bad, but next week, let's meet. Okay.
Thank you.
I would like to say something on that subject. First of all, if you don't live on the south side, you shouldn't make no decision for the south side. Nobody should make decisions for the south side, but people that live over there. Ask the people over there. Okay, I understand what they're saying about cleaning up the yards. Okay, but there's a lot of things that happen here. They cleaned up the south side once before, when Dollar was a mayor, him and Floyd Felder. And all they did was, they destroyed all the houses they considered substandard. They stole all the antiques, all the wood. And the people lost their properties because they weren't notified by the city about losing their properties. No heirs were notified. They took the land and sold it. Now, from all black. Now it's Mexican and white and Asian. Everybody wants to shop on the south side now. Because it's the only land available. That land is valuable now, and they don't understand. These people aren't here to represent themselves, so somebody got to speak up for them. Told them back they're doing a great job. I commend them for volunteering and doing these things, and it's helping the south side. I'm commending the mayor, I commend the city manager for what their efforts, Mr. Schaefer. Everybody's doing the things that's gonna help us on the south side. But the south side has to realize one thing. These improvements that's being made, the waters went up, what, $30 when I come home, now it's $80-something. You don't have to use not one drop of water. It's gonna be $100 and not use one drop of water. the improvements that they made with the curbs and the sewers and all that stuff. Okay, from Lavaca Street over to San Antonio Street, I'm 73 years old. We were swimming that way. So what comes in, hey, we got manholes and sewers and all this stuff to alleviate this flooding and things like this. And I'm loving this, you know? I said, wow, our town is growing. Wow, the size of our community is improving. But at what cost? At what cost? We know that the taxes are gonna go up because of these curbs and manholes that they put in. Something they haven't done since I've been born to alleviate no problems over there. Nothing has ever been done. Mr. Schaefer made a statement to me. He said, Mr. Pace, we're gonna do everything we can and try to alleviate what was happening. Replace whatever we gotta do. I'm asking the city council, I'm asking the city manager, I'm asking the mayor. The property owners over there, there's no one here to defend them. Fines is not the answer. Find the people that owns it and notify them. Make a concentrated effort. A concentrated effort, not just put it in the paper. Hell, they ain't gonna read the Port Lavaca way in California. They're not reading in Oklahoma. They're not reading in Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and that's where these people live in. All over the country. And you ask somebody, well, I don't have his address, I don't have his phone number. That's not for us to do. You gotta dig deep and find these people. Our people, I come home, we have no stores. We have nothing. All the businesses are gone. What we have now left is organizations that are willing to help the South Side. We have Wilkins alumni, and we have Total Impact. Other than that, you know, it's just like Harvey. The people that could afford to fix their places and replace the things that was destroyed during Harvey, they did that. The people that had insurance, they could replace all the stuff. We didn't have to have no insurance on our properties, our things, so we couldn't get no help. My fiance had a old college debt from 18 to 19 years old. She's 62 now. And the reason they used was she had a loan from the government to go to school. They said, well, that's why we can't help you. But this place was declared a disaster area. If it's in a disaster, then everybody should qualify. It still got rooftop roofs all on the coast cities. Still got displaced families from Port Lavaca all the way down to Brownsville, including Refugio, everywhere. These people can't come back. There's nothing left. The little wood house they had, we rode Port Lavaca right after Harvey, Corpus Christi, Rockport, Aransas Pass. I grew up in this whole coastline. Then we saw these shelters for these people. I said, take pictures of this. We rode along the bayfront. All these beautiful piers we had on this coastline, right in Port Lavaca and Calhoun County. All those piers that we put up, they wind up all those pieces of piers wind up in Black Rock. All that wood. Some people got real ingenuity and they took that wood, they've been making decks all over Port Lavaca, Calhoun County out there. It was free wood, which is most expensive wood. I'm talking about timbers 2 feet wide, 3 feet wide, 2 feet like this, all kinds of stuff. It's like a treasure trove. South Side. Never had too many empty lots over it. Now, the empty lots are empty, but they've been taken. City sold them. And like I said, they didn't look for no areas. This new curves they put in, we have no access to our property. They put curves all the way around and say, well, you know, it's an empty lot. It don't matter. You're supposed to have at least a piece of a driveway where you can get on your property and do maintenance. We're supposed to have some kind of representation. Who's gonna fight the water company from keep going up? Every time we look up, like I said, it was $30 when I come home 20 years ago. Now it's $80-some, it's gonna be $100. And we're talking about fines for these people, this, that, and the other. Let's find a way to help the people on the South Side besides fines and punishment and land acquisition for the city. You're not in it. That's not your job. The city's supposed to grow. You can't grow being stifled with high bills, high taxes, high fines, because you can't do everything at once. You're not financially able, or you're not present, or you're not notified. Your job is to represent us, the citizens. You're all citizens here. If you're not a citizen here, you have no reason to make no decisions for us. If you're not a resident of the South Side, you have no reason to make no stipulations for us. We're trying our best. And with the help of Total Impact, it's improving. Things being done. These are private citizens, don't live nowhere near the South Side, but yet they come over and help us. I haven't seen not one city councilman want to help us do nothing, but talk. Who's doing it? The mayor's doing it. Who's doing it? Mr. Schaefer's doing it. Who's doing it? Jody Weaver's doing it. I want to see I'm nobody. I'm just a person. I'm just one person. But I heard for the South Side, and the rest of you, they're not gonna say nothing. They're scared. Code enforcement, they're scared of y'all. Every time y'all come, it's bad news. Every time you come, it's bad news. He's bragging about his being law enforcement, code enforcement. If you're not a person from the South Side, make no decision for them. Come to somebody that knows. You got a city councilman, right? Represent us. Go to him, and he can come to us. Decisions that's gonna hurt us financially. Don't hurt it. Don't make no decisions that's gonna put us in jeopardy and losing our properties. That's not right. You can't make it right.
Michael, we'll give you a chance to say something a little later. You're on the agenda.
Thank you, sir.
We'll give you 3 minutes at the beginning. I'll give you a little extra.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to make a correction though. I'm sorry. Mr. Daniel Geary has been helping us with the cleanups, very much so. So I just wanted to point that out.
And I commend Mr. Geary also.
I know.
He's my, I know Mr. Geary.
But I just wanted to point out, Danny
Well,
has
okay, that's
been
cool.
coming by.
And that's wonderful. And I commend him. I'm not talking down. I'm talking about do something to help us, not hurt us.
We'll give you a chance in a minute.
Y'all are helping,
Go into.
helping us, love for us.
We gotta move on now. Before I move on, is there anyone else that wants to make a comment during the comment section? A lot of you are on the.
Ladies. Lori behind you, can you get her name, please, for the record?
No, yeah. She's not on.
It's Marina Flores.
All right. Seeing no one else to speak, we'll move on to our consent agenda, which consists of the minutes of the March 2024 regular meeting, the minutes of the March 25th, 2024 special meeting and workshop, review of our credit card statement, receiving our monthly financial highlight report, receive Victoria Economic Development Corporation's monthly report, receive investment report for quarter ending March 31st, 2024, and ratify engagement letter from Patillo, Brown and Hill LLP for auditing services of the city's financial for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. And none opposed, motion passes. Right, then we will move into our regular action items. And the first action item is to conduct a public hearing in accordance with the City of Port Lavaca Code of Ordinances, Chapter 12, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 4, Substandard Buildings, Section 12 to 291. Notice A, fee for the following properties listed: 617 South Ann Street, 120 West Martin Luther King, and 227 Tommy Drive.
I don't know if you want me to give just a brief for the crowd, short process we go through to get here.
All right. Derek, I'll be right.
Yeah, or if you want to, that's fine.
No, yeah,
Because, I mean,
After you.
the fact is that we do extensive research about the property owners of this property.
Okay.
We are required by law to give notice to the address on the property tax rolls with the CAD. If there is an estate that owns the property, I go and do research about the estate. Oftentimes people choose to pay taxes on property that has a very, very problematic real estate record because there are so many heirs that there's no possibility that'll ever be resolved. Oftentimes these properties have unpaid taxes. One of the taxes today is from 2012 forward. The taxes have not been paid. And so we have to do extensive research, give these property owners certified, regular mail. We have to go look all the utility records for the property. If anyone's had utilities on there, we have to give them, use their address as well. We have to, the name that's on the property, we use that name in our utility records to try to find out owners. But it's very similar to what the appraisal district does when basically we've run out of options. And this is kind of a last resort. We beg, plead for people to mow their grass, to maintain their structures, and some of them are just will never be able to be repaired. So what this does, we don't take the property and not give people an opportunity to do it themselves. But what we do as a city is what we're looking forward to do today is on these substandard buildings, is if they are in such a dilapidated condition that they've become whatever's on there and make it a real nice flat piece of property. And then, you know, they put a lien on the property, they don't take it.
That's the same thing.
And
That's
So
the
when-
same thing, and the lien, same thing.
no, no, because it can be, the property can be worth more than the,
Pay the lien, then they take the property, right?
they can.
Oh, well, they will too, they done it.
So I've been city attorney for 13, 14 years now. We have not executed on a lien in that period of time, so it's not exactly how it works. I'm not saying that won't be how we pursue in the future. But what we're trying to do is get safety and tear down the structures that no longer can ever be repaired. That's why they're being declared substandard. And then they're giving notice. Still be given another opportunity to clean it up themselves, generally between around 90 days to clean it up. And the city will work with them if they need longer. The city will work with them if they need to find someone to do it. So the city has always been willing to work with the citizens. I work with them on a constant basis to try to address the problem. When we have no other options, then we come to demolish and put a lien on the property. But generally, it's been the tax office, because the taxes are unpaid, that goes in and forecloses on the property. That has rarely been done by the city, not saying it won't in the future. So they're given the opportunity to repair it even after today, or to take it down themselves at their own cost and expense. If not, after that time period passes, then the city will go in and demolish it possibly. And then at that time is when the lien's put on. So they've been given a good 6 to 8 months before we get to this place, at least. So just moving forward, I wanted everyone to understand the process. That it's not, and we've done this in multiple neighborhoods. It's not only being done on the south side. And we've done it, I know an individual who's on the list today who I'm rather shocked they haven't taken care of it, but it happens.
Well, and also when the city gets to that point where the council does order for the city to, go ahead and get bids and demolish, the property owner still has the right to appeal to district court as well.
Yeah, they can
So
appeal it.
it is a long process. The property owners, they are given plenty of opportunity to, and like she said, the city is willing to work with the property owners. Most of the properties we deal with, the property owner, we can't get them to, contact us, can't get them to clean their properties. So basically we become a lawn maintenance program for them. And like somebody would mention before, things like
Derek and Marie here. I just had,
but
well, I was just scared on the ordinance where it says it's a class C misdemeanor. How is that?
That's a civil matter. I mean,
we don't go to that point.
Why is it?
We do have the option to go ahead and give them a ticket, cite them
Okay.
and fine them for the violation, and each day is a new violation. But we don't want to do that with the citizens.
So that
We
doesn't-
try to work with them to get the properties clean.
yeah, that's if you wanted to pursue, if somebody is being intentionally like they have doing things that are preventing the city from maintaining or doing something, then I guess you could pursue that. But, fines is not what this is about. This is about trying to
I was just
be
asking.
safety.
Would that take it then through the court or what is the?
In municipal court, it's a municipal court violation. It's a municipal court violation. But they don't pursue that generally unless somebody's, it would have to be extenuating circumstances.
I was just curious.
Yep. Okay, the first one,
Here,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll come over here about the property, my parents' property, they're both deceased now. I'm in charge of the property now. But
Is
every
this
time
617 Ann?
Oh.
Okay, that's the one that we're talking about right now. Okay, thank you. Okay, 617 Han Street, I have the inspection list for that property and also some pictures for the council to review. The property owner did contact me. She was unable to make it. She wished she could have, but due to health reasons, she couldn't. She basically is the only one interested in the property. The manufactured home, she claims is another individual that lives here in town. And she can't get him to remove it. I just found this out last week. So I'm gonna try to, I know Wayne's been working on trying to contact the owner of the manufactured home to get it removed. He did also send some pictures of the property to show all the debris and everything that's on it that needs to be cleaned up. But that's the status on that one.
So the legal real estate history, I know that person may think they're the owner, but the people that actually have title to the property are deceased since 2005. Okay, so this is another circumstance where there's no legal action that's been taken to, and probably there's been multiple deaths after that, that makes the property ownership so splintered that it's almost impossible to give notice to everyone because you don't know who they are. Prior to, say, 2010, you can't even find an obituary. Sometimes when you can find an obituary, you can try to reach out to people, and we try to do that. But like in this case, the obituary was in 2005, was the second to die. The first to die died in 1981. And that's for the real estate. The 23 property taxes are not paid. And on the mobile home, the taxes are unpaid since 2012. No taxes have been paid for over 10 years. And that has a the manufacturer home is in an estate's name. She died in 22, but I suspect that she did not live there in 22. But the taxes have not been paid since 2012. And this mobile home is in very deplorable condition.
So Derek, I should know, but I don't know. Is this North or South Ann Street?
South End Street. There's a Google Maps, to kind of give you an idea of just the
Okay.
street view of it.
So you talked to the property owner.
Yes, she called
And
me.
she said that someone else has not been responded to remove the mobile home. I understand that. What'd she say about cleaning the property up
She did
without?
not know the condition of the property, so that's why
Saying that to her.
that's why we sent her pictures of it, just to make her aware of it.
Was she receptive? Would she,
I haven't heard since then. Have you heard?
She's
anything?
from Houston. She lives in Houston.
Houston?
Yes.
Is that house across from Wilkins? Is it?
Yes. Yeah, and in the interior, it's definitely, you can't repair that. It's in bad condition, and like I said, she did give me some contact names and numbers, so we're trying to address it in that method. But I didn't find out until late last week.
Thank you, Derek.
Yes, sir.
Is that house at this time considered condemned or something like that?
Well, that's what we're having the hearing about today, is where y'all can declare that. You're having a public hearing. You're gonna be looking at pictures and thinking. So do we believe it's uninhabitable, substandard, and there's a list of violations in your packet that shows a basis for that?
This is the opportunity.
Correct.
And if I may, since I did get in contact with the property owner last week, it would be my recommendation to give them the specific allotted time for us to contact the owners of the manufactured home to try to get that addressed and work with the property owner to clean it.
I agree with that.
You don't want to declare it?
No, it needs to be declared substandard. It definitely is. I have it on the utility list to do not turn on. So yeah, I definitely just declare it substandard and give it a lot of amount of time for staff to further take care of the.
Say something.
Mhm.
You said 617 South End. It's that trade on the home.
Yes, sir.
That comes from the cousin church.
That's who I talked to.
And the trailer, it's not hers.
Right. And that's what I just told the council.
Yeah, and they put that trailer there, and the guy couldn't get the title to it. And the owner, so he left.
Well, I had the other owner, the last registered owner that she had, as far as the person moved it on there, gave her the name of the actual owner. I have all the list of numbers and names. So I'll try to be addressing that, but I know that it's not her manufactured home.
I'm not saying, I understand what you guys are saying and things. And like, I mean, the poor guy, he couldn't own it.
Mhm.
And he was studying, he got snowed under with, he was doing his own repairs and everything. And finally, he just gave up.
Right.
So I guess.
But either way, it is unsecured, it's unsafe. I'm worried about kids getting in there hurting themselves. So I definitely feel like we need to.
She would really appreciate it if it was gone.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Anne Marie, but unfortunately, since it is on her property, ultimately, it is the property owner's responsibility. So if the city has to go in and take care of the issue, then the lien will be placed on the property. Correct? So.
And really the trailers in the house is in the name of Alfreda Adams estate. And she died back in 22. I mean, it hadn't changed since 1982 when it was.
Yeah, and I was told.
And the
Yeah,
taxes are going to someone named Renee Longoria.
transferred.
Well, the taxes haven't been paid for 12 years. I gotta pay my taxes.
moving to the next, 306 West MLK Drive.
Skipping around.
Well, in here, it's a different list than what's on here.
I got it.
Oh, you got it, it's on the paper.
Yeah, it's different. I don't know.
Okay, it's on the screen from a street view. And also you have some pictures of some of the violations and also the inspection list. Basically, it appears that this structure, the foundation's been compromised. It looks like it's the actual floor is sitting on the ground. Wood, definitely substandard. And the exterior sheathing, not protecting it from the weather. Among the rest of the things that are marked on the inspection list.
So this property, just to let you know, is also connected, the same owner is connected to another property that that she claims is her homestead, but has also been subject to what we wanted to do a substandard building. Because it was her homestead, the city cannot recover any kind of expenses because you can't put a lien on a homestead, but there is no one living there. And it's in a substandard condition, but the city's hands are kind of tied. That property is on South Virginia, and it's tied to the same property. For this particular piece's property, the taxes have not been paid for 22 or 23. And for the property on South Virginia. So this is two different pieces of property related to the same owner who are both not maintained.
Can we address that?
Yeah, we,
Mhm.
Derek wanted to discuss something on the other house. Hey, Michael, you want to?
Yeah. Well, 306 modern things. There's no leaks in it. It's not it's not on the ground.
It looks like the beams are completely gone from the exterior. I didn't go to the inside and do a full.
The exterior,
I'm talking about the beams
which means
that hold the structure.
underneath.
There's parts of them that's, there is no beam in some areas because it's completely rotted.
Talking about the outside beam.
Well, no, for the structural beams
Yeah.
underneath.
Underneath.
I guarantee that we redid that. It was in the ground,
Okay.
and we redid that.
Well, it is a violation in numerous parts of the code. And also we've received numerous complaints about the property. So that's why it's on the list.
I'm trying to figure out who complaining. There's nobody live over there. Nobody lives around there. There's nobody, I can find a trailer behind it. That's our other little house. I mean, who's?
We have complaints.
You know, we done graveyard complaint?
We get complaints on numerous properties. We're addressing just some at a time. We can't.
We're using it for storage. It don't need.
Okay, well, like I said, it does not meet the minimum standards
And
for housing.
what are the minimums?
I can provide you,
No one's living there. We're not trying to put nobody in there.
okay, I can provide you with all that information.
Tell me now, we're right here.
Sir, that's not appropriate. He can't explain that to you. They're provided in writing. You're gonna have 90 days or so to fix it, and if you can't, then that's when the city can proceed.
And
It's like I
And
said,
I do want to.
y'all gonna steal it,
Well,
take it, or destroy it, whatever you wanna do. Y'all can do what you want.
Again, whenever we get ready to bring these to a public hearing. Also, if you got the notice, and I would be more than happy when people receive the notice like that, normally they'll contact us or at least come by our office and say, hey, these are our plans with the property. This is what's going on. We had no contact. Nobody came and talked to me about it. Nobody called. No response whatsoever. Like I said, we posted on the property. Well, we had to post it about 21 days before the hearing. So you had 3 weeks to come to my office and talk to me about it if there was concerns. And then plus we do send the certified letters to those that are on the. We have. That's the notice that we put on the property.
This is the property.
Yes, sir. I'll go back to my folder and I can find out for sure, and I can get you all the information you need.
Well, what you put on here, I've taken care of, except for the substandard look on the outside. On the inside of that property, it's a fault. That's why we use it as a storage building, so we couldn't bring it back to standard for someone to live in. So we decided to just, well.
For just a.
We got overwhelmed with property. The grandmother died, then adopted father died. Then adopted mother died, then a biological mother died, and we got all these properties. And full of stuff, and we've been trying our best.
I wish you would have came to my office, but doing an exterior inspection on this property, the exterior sheet. There was parts that I did inspection and the beams are completely missing. Now.
So I made a mistake because I started on the inside, if I did it on the outside first.
And there's also exterior sheathing that's coming loose. And same thing on the roof. And that's why I was doing my inspection on, was the external inspection.
Michael, can we set you up to meet with Derek and go over this and
Yeah, sure, that'd be all right.
step on a plan to work on the property?
Yeah, that works.
It's on the list and there will most likely be a finding that it's a substandard building, but that'll fix it.
Yeah, well. Let me. That was something that was added on later, because it's, let's say it's, the original is there. That was added on later, and, but the beam you're talking about, that's that front beam, but all the stuff, we put new pillars under there and we raised that. That house was on the ground. And for the first time in, I don't know when, we would actually look under the house and see the other side. But as far as the outside is concerned, yes, it do look rough bad.
Well, like I said, I did an exterior inspection and the exterior sheathing is in poor condition. So this is just what I could go by. And like I said, I have received numerous complaints about. Okay, and I'd appreciate it if you get with me and we can go over the minimum standards for structures.
Thank you, Michael.
I guess for that property, staff would recommend to declare it substandard and work with
landowner.
those involved, I guess. To bring it up to standards.
Property. We still have. Next one.
506 there also.
The next one would be 506 South Virginia.
Maybe same thing with this one.
It's the same owners.
Oh,
No,
Frank
oh.
Wittig.
Oh, that's Frank Wittig? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, it is.
The old family home.
Yes.
I've received numerous complaints about the condition of the property, the junk vehicles, and also the house itself. the vehicles, they have been taken care of, correct? One has and one's still in process, okay? Thank you. And then, the eyegrass and weeds still can remain. We will have to take care of it. That's, I guess we'll include that in the hearing. It does have a lot of debris on the property. The roof is in poor condition. You can get, the back door is unsecured. Showing in the, let's see. Fourth picture provided. It looked like somebody had been getting access to the inside. They've been climbing over all the debris in the back and getting in from that spot. But the exterior siding, you can see in the windows,
Been able to get a hold of the property owner?
I'm sorry.
Have you been able to get a hold of the property owner?
I have not made contact with the property. We sent the certified letters and posted on the.
Have a good address on that property owner? Do you know? I know this address, but to the property owner's actual. Yeah, I'm wondering if we got a hold of it.
Yeah, I
So
think
it went to the PO box here, but they live in Victoria.
Frank lives in Victoria.
It's full of his mother's furniture and stuff. So guess what's gonna happen to the furniture? I was just curious.
They came back.
Were you able to make any kind of contact with him? And then if you did, what was his response? I can see that it's concerned.
I'll be glad to personally reach out.
Okay. What's the next one?
It
Was that the one that had the vehicles on the side, or is that a different property that were,
had the two vehicles on the side. One of them's been removed, one's in the process of being removed.
they belong to that landowner? They were just, they were there for repairs without, they weren't registered or?
They have an inspection.
Registrations, but they've been there for numerous years. Okay, next one is 227 Tommy. There are parts where the roof is actually collapsed. Exterior siding, sheathing is completely gone. It is unsecured. You can see from the pictures that. Yeah. Condition of the roof and the structure itself. Or is it?
Those owners have been contacted?
So this is another case where the property has been splintered. So since in the 1980s, it was left or deeded to 5 family members. And then the one family member that has this in their name, I mean, the taxes are going to them. That's not it's in the 5 people's names. But, one of those has died because that's who the taxes are going to. I believe it's in far away from here. It's not like up by Tyler or something. And so that's the address we have. We've researched other potential people, but it's just the property's splintered so far now that you don't have contact with anyone. It's no one that lives here. I don't think you've heard from him either, have you?
No, there's one more.
Okay, one more. We got 126 Haviland.
That's in Mesquite, Texas. That's where it's sent to a PO box in Mesquite. There's been no contact from that person or her children or.
What would be the next step or something?
But declaring it substandard, that's what we're here to do today.
126 Haviland?
Yes. You can see that the overhang is collapsing on it. It does have a lot of trash and debris.
see, I believe that is an actual mobile home. Seventies, were you able to find out anything? on that? Okay,
From the sixties.
I'm sorry. Okay, I knew it was before 76. That's what. Okay.
That's
Are
probably
you
what
here
you're-
for Haviland? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, the property owner's here.
They both deceased, so I'm the owner now.
Okay.
But I had hired someone to cut the tree. A neighbor, he's one of those guys that so he remodeled his house and threw all his garbage on my property. So the trailer that I need to clean it up and this and that, well, I hired somebody else, they went, they cleaned it up. And I confronted the guy and he turned around and says that it's not his. He's the only one that has an old house with the old windows. Before,
Right.
well, he's got his concrete porch that he pulled out through my yard and he built one made out of wood. Then his trash can, he doesn't like it on his side because it makes his property look ugly. So he puts it on this side of the fence. He's got a tree on the other side of my fence that was growing and it started to hit our fence. So we told him he needed to do something about it and if not, we were gonna cut it. And he said that we couldn't do nothing because it was his tree, it was on his property. The tree grew too big, now it's all on my side. And now he wants us to cut it because now he's scared it's gonna fall and land on his house.
Right.
So now I'm stuck with, I already had all this trash taken away. Okay, and I got somebody else coming in this Wednesday to come and cut some more trees down, because I'm trying to clean out the yard as good as I can before I start on the trailer. But I'm gonna have the trailer demolished, but I want the property to look good before I start doing that. It passes by and all that.
Okay. Have you received the notices from the city?
I seen one and I got this one here in the mail.
Okay, I know code enforcement's been sending out letters for the property owner for well over a year now. I was just curious. It's good to know that if you
See, and I
what's
go
going
pay
on.
I go pay the taxes and everything.
Uh-huh.
And but like I said, I'm trying to keep it up. And I live in Victoria too,
Right.
but every chance I get, I come down and try to cut the yard. The one day I come and there's all this trash that this guy is doing the carpentry work on his house or mine.
Okay.
I reported it. They turned around and said we couldn't do nothing because we didn't see him do it. You know, so.
Right.
You know, and when we were living there. And he was cleaning up his yard, he wanted to throw everything on our yard. Because he didn't want it on his, because his yard was too pretty. So now he was trying to throw his trash while we were still living there. On our property. And I said, no, you can't do that. And he goes, well, I don't wanna put it on my property. I said, what's your trash? You
Yeah,
know, and after that, you know, he's never said nothing, but. When I moved out and then my dad got sick, I put him in a nursing home. And then not long after that, like I said, I started seeing little stuff here and there on the property, and I confront him. They just not his. But he's the only one that does that,
I need to write it.
because the other neighbor, he's real particular about his property, his house,
Right.
and he throws everything in the trash.
Okay.
Not this other neighbor, he'd rather throw it on my property, so I could pay for it and have it taken away.
Okay. And they're gonna state whether it's substandard or not. Depending on the outcome, as you know, we found out we have a new code enforcement officer. You can get with him after the meeting and get in contact on him, maybe email, and they can maybe help work together to take care of that issue.
Okay.
What's your name, sir?
Yes.
David, Moya?
Moya, Mr. Moya.
Perhaps you could leave contact information with them that may be easier to get a hold of you. They've been sending it to a PO box in Port Lavaca.
Yeah, my PO box. 461 Port Lavaca.
Does that place have utilities hooked up to it?
I'm sorry?
Are the utilities hooked up to that?
No, sir.
I don't have no electricity, nothing.
Nothing.
It's not livable. The last person I let stay there had kids and they demolished the inside, bad. So I locked up all the doors and everything. Apparently someone went and opened it to go in. And I found it and I closed it up again and I put screws on it so they couldn't open the door.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I think that's one that you can work with our code enforcement officers and with Derek.
So all I would tell council is after this public hearing, I don't know if you want to close them, but after, I think Derek's been able to demonstrate all of them are substandard, and this is just the first step in trying to have the property cleaned up. At this point in time, what would happen after today, if you do declare them substandard, is the property owner would be given written notice and a time period, whatever y'all set, to clean it up. And if they need, the letter does say, if they need an extension, they can contact the city at any time for an extension of that deadline. But this is the first step in being able to clean up property. And so I would encourage you to take this first step and declare them substandard.
Yeah, and we will post it on the property as well. And when we post it on the property, we take a picture showing the time and date and everything. So.
What kind of time period do you usually give for them to?
90 to 120 days usually, right?
Minimum that state law allows is 30, but I do not recommend that. That's a little too aggressive, I believe. But yeah, 90, 120, whatever the council feels is necessary to give the property owners the time needed to bring it up to standards, or at least work on it anyway to get something going.
Yeah, maybe state a time frame when we make
Yes.
declaration.
Yes.
That's on item 2.
Right.
Yeah.
When we do, want to clear up the problems.
That's the main thing, you have to clear it up,
Because if you,
all of it.
so if we do not take any action on these properties, if you decide to skip one, we have to start all over.
No, I think most people are in agreement that they are substandard, so.
Right. I make a motion that we.
We gotta
There's
go
no
to
motion
item
yet.
2, yes.
Is there anyone else here to speak on these houses that we've discussed? If not, we will close the public hearing at 7:30 p.m. Move on to agenda item number 2. Is consider finding that the following properties listed located in the city of Port Lavaca, Texas are in violation of the city of Port Lavaca Code of Ordinances, Chapter 12, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 6, Substandard Buildings, following a public hearing held on December 11th, 2023.
Wait, I think that date
That
is,
date is not right.
yeah, I don't know where that came from. It's incorrect date.
And Marie, does that make a difference on the clerical item? We fix it in the motion?
You shouldn't, it shouldn't affect and if they were given notice to be here,
Yes.
yeah.
Public hearing, you folks know.
Everything's-
About the agenda.
No, I'm not worried about that because they were actually given notice of this date. So that should be remedied in the motion.
This involves, once again, 617 South Ann Street, 126 Haviland Street, 506 South Virginia Street, 306 West Martin Luther King Street, and 227 Tommy Drive. So this time, I guess anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we consider the following properties as substandard as following the public hearing held April 8th.
A second.
We needed.
And giving a date, how long?
And giving them 90 days.
90 days.
90 days to this 90 day, yeah, as a first step.
90 days with it, maybe an extension after that.
Yes, they can.
We put that in the letter.
Motion and a second.
Second.
Seconded. You did.
Yeah, he did, just second.
You're busy writing and reading. All right, so we have a motion
And a second, to declare, properties at 617 South Ann Street, 126 Haviland Street, 506 South Virginia Street, 306 West Martin Luther King Street, 27 Thomas Drive as substandards as per the
City of Port Lavaca Code of Ordinances as presented. All in favor, say aye.
opposed, motion passes.
We,
Or is it over?
it's over right now. What property were you talking about?
Not before the next meeting, because I just met Luke last week. He was taking pictures of the house next door to my house that burned down back in October on Highway 35. It says that an investigation was being done and had just been finished, so we were hoping to bring this up tonight, but I'll wait until the next meeting so y'all can get all the pictures and everything of the house next door to me, because if it burns, it's all charged out. There's metal flying off the roof or the porch or whatever every day, every night when I'm asleep. I hear a piece of metal falling down, because it's all the property burned, but nothing's been cleaned.
What's the location of the property?
Michelle, if you'll,
1402 Highway 35 bypass, it was Joyce Flanagan's house.
Okay.
I was living in that house.
Got the travel trailer and all that stuff that burned out.
All right.
Michelle, if you talk to Jody or Derek tomorrow, they can give you some update.
Okay, that's not really pertinent to our agenda items.
So we need you to talk with. Thank you. All right, we will move on to
Agenda item number 3, consider approval of the annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023,
prepared by the audit firm of
Patillo, Brown and Hill LLP.
Jody.
Is Travis still on? Okay. We met with the finance committee last Thursday with a draft copy of the audit for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023. There were a few corrections made since that time on Thursday. This is the final presentation now. Travis, do you want to give a little bit of overview? Don't need to go as much detail as we did Thursday night, but just kind of give them the highlights.
Yes, ma'am, of course. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yes.
Good deal. Well, thank you, Jody. Like you said, my name's Travis Rogers. I'm with Patillo, Brown and Hill in Waco. And we had the pleasure of working with the city on the fiscal year 2023 financial audit, which is contained in this annual comprehensive financial report you guys have in front of you. So just very quickly hit a couple of highlights. If you have the paper copy in front of you, you can see on page 1 on our independent auditors report. So I mentioned that we conducted the city's financial statement audit for fiscal year 2023. This letter here simply lines out, in addition to some other standardized language about our responsibility as your auditors, the responsibility of the city's management, all that good stuff. Also contains the results of our audit and our audit opinion. So you can see towards the top on page 1, under the header that says opinions, that second paragraph down, beginning with, in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material respects as of and for the year ended September 30th, 2023. So essentially that's what we refer to as an unmodified or a clean opinion. Basically means as a result of our audit, no issues, no material departures from GAAP were noted. So this is the highest level of assurance we are able to provide on these financial statements as the city's auditors.
Thank you.
Couple other real quick items, if you're interested, very briefly, you can see beginning on page 15. The governmental fund financial statements. Starting with the balance sheet, you can see the left-hand column on page 15, the general fund. You can see the down towards the bottom, the total fund balance of about 8.9 million, including 7.4 million of unassigned fund balance as of September 30th, 2023. We compare those amounts to, we look at page 18, the revenues and expenditures for the year for the general fund. General fund spent about 10.8 million during 2023. So that works out to a little over 8 months worth of expenditures in unassigned fund balance in the general fund. So basically means that as of September 30th, 2023, the city has over 8 months, just over 8 months of expenditures in the general fund balance that has no internal or external restriction placed upon it.
Good.
One last thing to highlight, flipping kind of back towards the back a little bit to page 102. See another letter very similar to the one we looked at a moment ago. This one is on the city's federal single audit. Essentially is a compliance audit we perform on entities that expend $750,000 or more of federal funding during the year. So essentially based on certain risk factors, certain criteria, we select certain grant programs to test the amounts expended during the fiscal year, just to test for compliance with federal regulations and with the terms of the grant agreements. Same thing, very first section, beginning with opinion on each major federal program. You can see the second paragraph down below that. In our opinion, the city complied in all material respects with the compliance requirements that could have a direct and material effect on each of its major federal programs. So again, as before with the financial statements, this is an unmodified or clean opinion, meaning as a result of our single audit, no instances of non-compliance or any questioned costs were noted. So just to summarize very quickly, unmodified clean opinion on both the financial statements and the federal single audit, and also have just over 8 months of expenditures in general fund unassigned fund balance. So everything looks good. Again, want to give a real big special thanks to Brittany and everyone else in the finance department. They have been phenomenal to work with this year. It's I know they've had some challenges with personnel turnover and then everything else, and obviously having to operate the city day to day and run the finance department. But like I said, they worked very, very hard, answered all of our questions, got us everything we needed, and everyone else here at the city we've worked with, it's because of all of you guys that this report came together. And like I said, we very much appreciate everything.
Thank you, Travis. Yeah, I also want to reiterate that, I want to thank Travis and his team for all their hard work, working with us. And yes, he's right. Brittany and Rayanne they did a phenomenal job. I'm really proud of them. And we had the goal of getting this done by the end of March. We didn't quite make it, but we were very, very close. We are committed that next year we will have it in before the end of March. We did get an extension for our audit, the requirements for all our federal grants that we need to submit this. And as long as you don't go over 30 days from the end of March, there's no problem at all. So we're clearly going to have no problems with that. But again, I'm very proud of the ladies back in the finance department. They did an excellent job.
Like council to note that Brittany, she did do a wonderful job. She caught some things on her own. She made some
Corrections in the journal that take somebody with some expertise to do, and she was the kitchen and complete that. That's gorgeous. That's what.
Council recognizes their efforts, finance committee. They did an excellent job. Thank you, Travis, for your hard work. The perfect audit. Thank you.
So with that, we just, need to approve it.
Make a motion that we approve, audit.
Second.
Second.
We got a double. We have a motion and a second to approve the annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023. As prepared by the other firm, the Field Brown. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Opposed, motion passes.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to agenda item number 4, consider the request from the Port Lavaca Events Committee for a variance of to the Code of Ordinance, chapter 32, Parks and Recreation, article 4, park regulations, section 32 to 73 park rules establish specifically 7 parking or loitering in public parks after 11 p.m. is prohibited, regarding operating hours of the Bayfront Peninsula Park on June 14th, 15th, and 16th. Tanya?
Mayor and council, I kind of outlined this in the packet in years past as part of the Juneteenth celebration when it was at George Adams Park. One of the cherished traditions was just hanging out at the park all night, playing cards, dominoes, cooking, socializing, kind of a homecoming of sorts. When we moved to Bayfront Peninsula Park, we kind of realized it was in violation even when it was at George Adams Park, but definitely in violation of this park rules for Bayfront Park, which only allows you to be in the park if you're fishing after 11 p.m. And we're asking for a variance to that ordinance for this event to allow people to set up their camp basically and hang out if they want to. We would make sure to have an officer there because, you know, to go along with the alcohol in the park. And we're just asking for a variance to the Code of Ordinances for that weekend for that specific park.
Make a motion that we approve the variance for the Code of Ordinances. So that
Right, so we have a motion and a second to approve
Variance of the Code of Ordinances, chapter 32, park and recreation. To change the park rules involving park hours as presented. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Any opposed, motion passes. I think what we're gonna change the rules to for suspending the 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's.
Thank you.
and she didn't ask for money.
I did not ask for money. Let it be noted.
All right, we'll move to agenda item number 5. Consider a request from the Port Lavaca Events Committee for a parade procession from George Adams Park to Bayfront Peninsula Park to celebrate Juneteenth on Sunday, June 16th, 2024, with waiver of permit fees and assistance with traffic control. So moved.
second.
Hey, let me talk about it. How cool it was. Yeah.
We go ahead and talk about it. It's an annual event. We do this every year.
No, this is not the parade.
Oh, not
No,
the.
not the parade.
The
Not the parade. They're gonna do a parade.
Oh, they're gonna do a.
I'll be real quick. So we're celebrating 50 years of Juneteenth in Port Lavaca. That is a huge thing. That is the theme, 50 years strong, celebrating our past, present, and future. And we're trying to align our activities to that. So the activities will be at Bayfront until Sunday morning, and then we'll start at the Bayfront. We're gonna bus over to George Adams where the event will kick off. We'll have some speakers with some history and process back from George Adams to the bayfront, where we're gonna have our parade. And it's really cool, so I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't ask for money.
Jody, do we have any parts of the historical trail ready for this?
We don't, we don't have anything specific.
Okay.
That parade you're talking about, what's the route? What's it gonna be?
That is still in the works. We're gonna work with PD to figure out the safest way to get from George Adams Park to here and make it easy, but it's still a little bit in the works, the final route.
You'll have a bus available for.
Yes, that's our hope is
We
to
will.
let people park at the bayfront, bus over to George Adams, and then they can walk or bus back from one park to the other.
We have a motion and a second. All
All
right,
right,
we
we
have
have a motion and a second, approving the request for a parade procession from George Adams Park to the Bayfront Peninsula Park to celebrate Juneteenth on Sunday, June 16th, with waiver of the fees, and traffic control assistance. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Unopposed, motion passes.
Thank you.
Come on. All right, we've moved to agenda item number 6. Consider the first reading of ordinance G-2-24 of the city of Port Lavaca, amending the basic traffic control devices ordinance G-6-86, section 3 by adding new street locations in Berkshire, Marshall Meadow, and Seagull subdivisions. Repeal with a repeal clause and effective date. Jody?
I'm gonna let Colin take it.
Mayor Council, I recently did assessment of those all those subdivisions. And basically what we're doing is replacing all of the yield signs in that area with stop signs. For somewhere down the line, they felt it was a good idea to have yield signs as opposed to stop signs. I kind of feel different. I think it would kind of help with the issues of traffic, possible speeding, slow people down. They actually make a complete stop. So these were some of the bars in the memo, and then this kind of the things that I saw just driving through the neighborhood.
So you're gonna use the same poles, just change the sign?
Correct. And in fact, Wayne and I have been speaking, and he's currently ordering lots of stop signs. We're gonna look into, of course, another area after this one. I think Lynn Haven's gonna be kind of the next one. So.
Thank you for doing that.
Chief,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, have there, Ms. Padron, has there been some complaints about those?
There has been, there has been about people speeding, because that addition, along with like Orange Street, are cut throughs from one side to the other side. So what I've done after I got the complaint, I went through the streets a couple times, and I parked a little bit and waited, talked to people on the streets, that live there. And they've never had any problem except these complaints that I've had, but there are all yield signs there. So there's no, personnel that lives there, they say, no, they don't fly through here, but maybe it was just that one car, but who knows, maybe that one car is coming by when that child is outside. So it needs to slow down the traffic. And it's been like that. When we first moved here in the early 70s or mid 70s, I mean, it's always been like that. There's never been any stop signs. Or anything. So I've looked into it, several different times but there was 2 streets and then Orange Drive. And Orange Drive, I really sat on, and I just.
Seagull, where's that? Seagull subdivision? Seagull, where is that?
Behind, where Dairy Queen is on Austin Street?
Yeah.
That area behind there.
That's my district. It's always been like that.
Chief.
Thank you.
Yes.
I make a motion, so moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the first reading of the ordinance G-2-24, the city of Port Lavaca, amending the basic traffic control devices. Ordinance G-6-86, section 3 by adding new street locations, Berkshire, Marshall Meadow, and Seagull subdivision. All in favor, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. None opposed, motion passes.
There you go.
We'll move to agenda item number 7, consider first reading of an ordinance G-3-24, the city of Port Lavaca amending the code of ordinances, appendix A, fees, rates, and changes, chapter 50, water basic rates, and providing an effective date.
Mayor, council, when we first started planning for the water systems improvement project, which is the ground storage tank and the high surface, high pressure pump station. The budget at that time, we thought originally we'd be spending about $393,688 of the 2022 series bond funds. And so last year, about this time last year, we did increase the water base rate by 38 cents to account for that then planned expenditure out of the 2022 series bond fundings that would then, pay for that pro rata share of the bond payment. As you recall, the bids came in about $2 million over budget. And as a result, we have committed a total amount of $2,436,108.99 of the 2022 series bond funds to go towards this project. That's an increase of over $2 million. Therefore, to collect adequate revenue from the water customers to pay for the proportional share of the 2022 series debt service payments, we're proposing to increase the base water rate by $1.97 as follows. We're using the same formula we did last year when we thought we were only using about 400,000. That yielded the 38 cents. So we take the total amount, the water bond series proposed funding, which is the $2.4 million. We're adding 5% onto that. That's the interest rate on the bonds. We divide it by 20 years, which is how long we'll be paying for this, and divide it by 12 months, and then divide by the number of customers, and that yields $1.97 per customer to generate enough revenue to pay for their share of the bonds. Recommendation is we did review this with the finance committee in February at the February finance committee meeting. And we're recommending approval of this first reading of an ordinance that would increase the monthly water use base rate by $1.97, which amounts to 6.6 cents a day. And that would result in a new residential base water rate of $26.65.
What effective date are you?
It would be, once this, we have to have the second reading of the ordinance. Yes.
Make a motion, we approve the ordinance with the amended water basic rates with the effective date of the approval of the second.
Just that formula did not include any, you're.
And I forgot to say, we did subtract 38 cents. We already did last time, so.
It's a flat growth rate.
Yes.
No growth. And you didn't figure any.
Right now, but that's, we will be looking at this annually, over the course of 20 years.
Okay.
So this is what it is now, but yes, as we get more customers, that will be able to go down.
Second it.
We move on. Phyllis Boone wanted to speak in comments, but then
I did.
I'm gonna allow her to speak here because she wants to talk about, she wants us to feel the pain of her water bill.
That's right. It's everybody's time. And I'm gonna be the same time pain. I know everything go up, everything go up. But I write down my water bill. And for 4 months, my water bill was like $80. Then next time I looked around, there was $82. So when I came up there this time, I told her, I said, hey, sis, do I got a leak? She said, no, ma'am, you don't have a leak. Your new water bill is $84. There's nobody there but me. You say, okay, I don't wash my clothes like everybody else. I don't water my grass like everybody else. I don't take a bath all the time. Today I used my bathroom at my home about 2 times,
And I ain't been home since, all day. And you know, I really do think the city can do something about this, cause you say the next 4 months, my water bill gonna be like $86. It ain't nobody there but me. I don't have a leak. I don't have a leak. And this is just ridiculous. It's what are we doing? Letting GPRA get richer? And then after he pay off what he needs to pay off, he's handed the bucket over to somebody else? But see, I shouldn't, if all this water is clean and stuff, I shouldn't have no ring around my commode. But I do. So the water still ain't clean. But it's, cause you say by the time the summer get here, ain't nobody at my home but me. I'm gonna be paying $100 water bill. And this is just too much. Maybe y'all got the money, but like I say, I'm on a fixed income. I ain't got it.
Yeah.
I don't have it. I ain't trying to go out here and borrow, cause I ain't gonna have no money to pay them back. I guess y'all ain't gonna do nothing, but just let the bucket just fly, fly, fly. And Miss Boone just gonna keep on paying.
Well, just to remind everybody also that this, the expenditure that we're making for this ground storage tank and high pressure service pump station is basically mandated by TCEQ. It's not anything we elected to do, but we need more storage, to comply with their rules and regulations.
But what happened to the water when we was paying like $32 for water bill?
Explain that to them.
What happened to them?
I don't even remember.
Okay, well, then I remember.
You have to remember.
I remember it when we was paying $32 for water. What happened to them people? They done died and went on.
Yes.
And we got a new roof.
You know, I can tell you that even just looking at our finances, just so you know, we're not getting rich. You know, we're
Somebody here.
breaking even with the water and we're actually, in the hole on sewer. But, as far as, you know, what it's costing us to operate.
The regulations are killing us.
Yes, I mean, they're mandated and we have to comply, you know,
Killing us.
that's, yes.
But before GPRA or whoever y'all keep talking about all the time, before them people came in, what happened to the old group? Cause the water bill wasn't like this.
Well, okay, before when we had GBRA, we don't have, GBRA no longer owns the plant.
Moved on.
I agree.
I agree.
But Undyne treats our water. And so there's more expense there than when GBRA.
Okay.
But the reason why we went to the alternate route where Undyne now owns the plant is because GBRA's proposal was to build a new water plant between $50 and $90 million, which.
So they ain't built that new water plant.
No, because we didn't want, that was gonna be $30-some or more per person. Two of that. The increase was maybe 7 and it may go up even more, but it's not, and the water side, we're not looking at a $30.
Okay, sister. So you said I'll be paying $100 for water.
I mean, I don't.
It's not just water.
It's
sewer and
trash pickup, and we've
Yes,
got,
ma'am, water has gone up.
and our storage, we have to pay for storage of our water. Just so that if we have a drought, that we have water. Pay for that storage capacity. That is from GBRA and that is going up. And they, I don't remember how many years ago, but they, instead of hitting us all at one time, it was a step-by-step increase. I think we still honestly have 2 more years of that before it will level off.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. The costs do increase.
Okay, you have a good night.
Could you come in and speak with Jody sometime?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are you on fixing?
You're fixed, extension. I'm on a fixed income. That's on a fixed income.
I would have.
I don't like that either, but I'm dipping into my savings.
That's the way around it. So cut the water off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut the water off. So thank you. That's the only thing I can think.
Move out into the country and love off the water.
Get back in order.
Try to move on.
She's good.
We have a motion and a second approving the first reading of the ordinance G-3 24, the city of Port Lavaca Code of Ordinances,
Alan? is it Alan?
chapter 50, water basic rates and providing an effective date. So, as presented, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes. It's the first reading. You have a second chance to come up and speak to us. At our next.
Get any better.
All right, we move on to agenda item number 8. Consider resolution number R-040824-1 of the city of Port Lavaca for the American Rescue Plan Act, state and local fiscal recovery funds, financial management policies and procedures. Jody?
As you recall, we received ARPA funds and, our ARPA funds are going for, our water and sewer improvement projects. Part of them are going to, improvements at the wastewater treatment plant. And the rest, is going for the ground storage tank and, pump station over at George Street. It was a total of a little over $2 million. Those projects are finally kind of moving forward and we're actually starting to spend some of the money. ARPA requires us to adopt this financial management policy and procedures that's specific to ARPA funding. I can let you know that with GrantWorks' guidance and our other policies with regard to federal funding, we have been following this. But the federal government's requiring us to adopt these policies now in order to comply with their regulations. This, and this, I was going to mention, this is one of the things that Katarina's been working on for me to get it to where it can be brought to council tonight.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and a second approving the resolution number R-040824-1 of the city of Port Lavaca for the American Rescue Plan and the SLFRP policies and procedures as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes. Move to agenda item number 9, consider resolution number R-0408-2 of the city of Port Lavaca for the American Rescue Plan Act, state and local fiscal recovery fund, standards of conduct, conflict of interest policy. Jody?
Similarly, the federal government is requiring us to adopt this resolution regarding standards of conduct and conflict of interest policy in order to stay current and in compliance with their regulations.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Moves on a second. then.
Two main motions in a second.
Take your pick, Mandy.
Got it?
You got it.
Okay. So, a motion and a second approving resolution number R-040824-2 of the city of Port Lavaca for the American Rescue Plan Act, SLFRF Standard of Conduct, Conflict of Interest Policy as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Opposed, resolution passes.
To agenda item number 10, consider resolution number R-040824-3 to adopt
the budgetary and financial management policies for fiscal year 2024 to 2025. Woody?
Manny's handing out a memo that wasn't ready for the packet on Wednesday. Yeah, I've got one. As a precursor to the annual budget process, budgetary and financial management policies of the city were reviewed by the Finance Committee on February 6th, with no changes being recommended by the committee. At the council workshop on March 25th, one clarification of the beach and port revenue operating fund was suggested as follows. We wanted to clarify that the fees collected will be spent on maintenance and capital improvements of the facilities, grounds, and other structures, other respective funds, and add that the general fund tax dollars will not be used for these purposes, adding except as a loan from the general fund to the beach or ports and harbors fund approved by council. Last week, the Port Commission met and they made a recommendation to council that affects this policy. I met with the Finance Committee last Thursday. Finance Committee was recommending to go ahead and approve this recommendation from Port Commission. The Port Commission was recommending to City Council to transfer all property taxes that are collected from Port Commission leased properties to the Ports and Harbors Fund. So again, if council chooses to adopt this recommendation, approve this recommendation, this would change what we want to say in this particular policy to the and the beach operating fund would basically say what we just said. It will be the general policy of the city that the fees collected will be spent on maintenance and capital improvements to the beach fund. And tax dollars will not be used for these purposes except as a loan from the general fund to the beach fund by council. Then in the Ports and Harbors Fund, it would state it will be the general policy of the city improvements of the Ports and Harbors Fund facilities, grounds, and other structures. Annually, an amount equal to the sum of all property taxes collected from Port Commission leased properties shall be transferred from the general fund to the Ports and Harbors Fund, for which sum will be spent on maintenance of other structures. No other general fund tax dollars will be used for this purpose except as a loan from the general fund to the Ports and Harbors Fund approved by council.
Yeah, I reviewed it. I mean, it is a bucket.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's just identifying what that amount is and then, you know, budgeting that in the.
Invalidating discretionary.
Because it's always said, this is just a policy.
Yes.
I like the clarification too, you know, about capital improvements as well as. I make a motion that we accept the alternate edit as.
Second. So. So.
He was gonna do.
Into two.
That was agenda 10, yes.
It refers to the resolution number.
Mhm.
It's already part of that resolution.
Yeah,
Yes, I mean, we need to amend that resolution to reflect this.
the alternate edit.
Everything else would stay the same except that last paragraph. Instead of beach and port and harbors. operating
Motion to approve.
And financial policies with the edit as proposed in the altered edit language.
Okay, that's. Okay. All right, so we
Yeah, that.
that works. Okay, we have a motion in a second to approve resolution number 24-4 as amended in main motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes. Right, we will move to agenda item number 11. Consider resolution number
R-040824-4 to approve the annual review of the city's investment policy and strategy ending March 31st, 2024. Jody?
As as a requirement of the Texas Public Funds Investment Act and as per the city's investment policy and strategy, city shall perform an annual review of the investment policy. On February 6th, the city's Finance and Investment Committee convened to review the current investment policy and found it to be adequate for the city's needs without any changes. So the recommendation is to approve the annual review of the city's investment policy and strategy.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second, to approve, resolution number R-040824-4 to approve the annual review of the city's investment policy and strategy ending March 31st, 2024, as presented. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Opposed, motion passes. We will now move to agenda item number 12. Consider the request of the police department to declare 3 fleet vehicles as surplus and authorize the disposal of said vehicles by releasing to Enterprise Fleet Management to auction them off. Colin?
Mayor, council, these are the last of the city-owned marked patrol units. As far as even all the marked fleet is all enterprise. So this is just declaring the surplus so we can.
So moved.
Good presentation, Colin.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request of the department.
Fleet vehicles as surplus and authorize disposal of said vehicles by releasing them to Enterprise Fleet Management. This auction off as presented.
Opposed, motion passes.
We move to agenda item number 13, consider approval of change order number 4, community development block grant disaster relief phase 2 streets and drainage improvement project in the amount of $17,586.21. Jody?
I'm going to turn it over to Wayne.
Mayor, council, this change order is to, it added a small amount of sidewalk due to the tie-ins, location, slopes of residents, and the result quantity of portions of Dallas, Wilkins, and South Streets for cement trip. It'll be an increase in the project cost of $17,586.21. Going back into a little bit of the history of it. The change order 1 was. It included a 90-day extension. We had to add 44,000 to because of dual sewer lines on Nueces Street, which made it, we had to replace those lines because of the way the storm sewer ran. We'd never be able to tap on both sides of them.
And that change order was approved by council.
And then going under TxDOT, we had to switch from HDPE pipe to RCP pipe, so we had to have special connectors connect the 2 pipes together, and that's just TxDOT regulation. Surface treatment and some RC 250 prime and pavement repair, and added in cement treatment. Roads that were not reconstructed. We wanted the roads to be, all of the roads to be in new shape and not just seal coated over, tore up roads. It didn't seem right to us, so that's a direction. I will say, the recommendation of staff is to approve the change order number 4, but we completed our final walkthrough on April 4th. And we had a total of 9 punch list items, which were mainly housekeeping, but there were a few glaring. We had, they need to re-sweep the seal coat streets
to expose some of the areas that are spalling and bleeding, which would lead to failures. We did have some open edges along the curbs that didn't get properly coated and sealed. And a few storm drains where there's not a big enough opening for the water to flow in, so they're gonna have to address that.
How did that happen?
Oversight in the crews, they
Are-
think
are
they
they
put
different?
wrong boxes in. the
Oh, they
wrong
put the
box.
wrong boxes.
And their boxes were meant for risers, the risers didn't go in there, so instead of having a nice cut angle going in, it steps in.
You think that's gonna affect the flow of the water when it rains a lot?
After they cut it out,
They gotta fix it. They're not leaving it that way.
And if they leave it like that, will it
The
work?
answer to your question is yes.
it would very much affect it.
It will?
Yeah, and it would create a large problem and create some hazards and destroy our new streets. So they will fix it. There's a,
We have to go cut them out.
yeah, there's a couple of manholes that are sitting low in the street. One of which is a storm drain, so we can put a grate lid on it instead of a manhole lid, and it'll drain there. The other one is a sanitary sewer. I won't let them put a grate on top of it, so they have to raise that lid, so there'll be some work done there. And then there's some housekeeping, curb and gutter cleanup, do a slope treatment on the curb on South Street. And then backfilling up against the curb so that the right of way the yards can flow over the right of way into the drain.
Were you, this had something to do with the 17,000 or?
No,
Oh, okay.
And that's a review.
That's the punch list.
No, and I think it's worth noting that in a project this large, the change order amounted to 0.26% of the contract.
That's good.
That's very good.
Is this Danny's, who's, this your district?
Danny's.
Your district? Yes.
Make the motion.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second approving change order number 4 of Community Development Block Grant Disaster Relief Phase 2 Streets and Drainage Improvement Projects. $17,586. As presented. All in favor? Wayne, you want to add something?
yeah, and I almost forgot to put this in there. It is noteworthy that the combined phase 1 and phase 2 projects, this is still a cost decrease of $62,928.69.
Oh, good. That was like a savings.
We had the
Well, in that area.
Well,
part of the grant.
so are we on
We have
phase 3 or are we done? Is there a phase 3?
Not in,
Well, they're not, it's not a phase 3, but the last portion of it is to. What we've done here is just the first coat. And then, and the reason why was because we got a deadline to finish this up for CDBG. And we didn't want to put the second coat immediately after the first coat. And so we're closing the CDBG up, and then with the savings we have, plus the 133,000 extra that GLO gave us, frees up 133,000 that we were planning on spending. With that money, we'll be able to put the second coat, maybe do some fault repairs.
so part of the the CDBG project, as soon as the punch list is done, done.
In fact, the plan is it will be an item on, as a special meeting item on our workshop on the 29th this month, so that we can, because we have to have everything done by the end of the month. And I want to give council the opportunity to release the final retainage.
What do you mean when you say bleed?
That's good. Yeah.
Coming through a lot.
We have a motion and a second approving change order number 4 of Community Development Block Grant Disaster Relief Phase 2 Streets and Drainage Improvements Project in the amount of $17,580. Bid, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passes. Agenda item 14, we do not have a closed session tonight.
Motion to
15, and I hear a motion to.
Second.
adjourn.
Second. Have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign.
Let's get the sheep out of here.
We're in here. Unless you want to take your audit books, just leave them here and I'll pick them up.
When we meet again, the next.
Special meeting is on the 29th.
Okay. Over application of oil, under application of rock.
There's some areas that look like the under application.
Talk to the chief.